everybody. Welcome to our ball or mini concert. I've got a nice group with me today. We have our Madison Library District Dance Troupe again with us. Alyssa, Amber, Lark, and Jessie, who will be demonstrating the dances. Hopefully you've had a chance to look over our instructional video so that you can join them as well. And we're adding some musicians. Here's Miss Gina,
Hi.
which most of you know. We're playing the bassoon, I'm on the fiddle, and this is Becky Godfrey playing the recorder. She's not one of our librarians. She teaches at the middle school. However, she used to be the librarian there, so it kind of still fits. The ensemble we have may not be the most typical. If you hired a trio to do a dance in your ballroom, this is probably not what you would come up with. However, all of the instruments were available at the time, and if you were going around your neighborhood trying to get a group together to play for some friends, you could very possibly end up with a group like this. The first dance that we will be doing is done to Mount Hills, and it is perfectly suited for one of those La Poulet quadrilles. So our dancers are ready for a quadrille, and if you're doing it at home, anytime we do a quadrille, we're going to go through it enough times so that if you have a full 4 couples to make the 4 sides of the quadrille, everyone will have a chance to be in that starter couple. If you only have 2 couples, you get to go through it twice. And if there's just 2 of you, you're going to get a really good workout. going to follow that with a tune called Lovely Nancy, which is a great tune to dance a Lendler to. Back on the floor again. We'll be playing Buttered Peas for a Scotch Reel. struggle for breath, we're going to do a quadrille. This will be done to a tune called No Park. The next few tunes, really most of the tunes remaining, are taken from the Austin family music albums. So these were tunes that Jane and her family would actually be playing, singing to, dancing to, etc. Many of them were copied out in her hand, as this next one was. And it is said, the next one is said to be one of her absolute favorites. Let me grab the music just a second. I will attempt to pronounce it. It is in French, so wish me luck. But my best guess would be Que j'aime avoir les hirondelles. As I said, family member said this was one of her favorite tunes. We'll play it through once for you, and it's a lovely tune for a Lundler. We'll be playing it back to back with another tune in the family volumes, which is Robin Adair. This is one we had to play. It was a very, very popular tune at the time, said to be a popular, one of Thomas Jefferson's favorite, and it is the only tune in any of her novels that is specifically mentioned by name. So it had to be done. And if you're curious, it's in the novel Emma. Jane Fairfax played it on her pianoforte. everybody back on for a Scotch reel. This time it will be to the tune Long Odds. Okay, while I let them breathe for a minute, let me read you a little excerpt. This is from a biography of Jane Austen written by her niece, who was the official family historian, Caroline Austen. And she said this about her aunt. Aunt Jane began her day with music, for which I conclude she had a natural taste, as she thus kept it up, though she had no one to teach her, was never induced, as I have heard, to play in company, and none of her family cared much for it. I suppose that she might not trouble them. She chose her practicing time before breakfast, when she could have the room to herself. She practiced regularly every morning. She played very pretty tunes, I thought, and I liked to stand by her and listen to them. But the music, for I knew the books well in after years, would now be thought disgracefully easy. Much that she played was from manuscript, copied out by herself, and so neatly and correctly that it was as easy to read as print. The next tune we'll be doing is a fairy dance, which will be a quadrille. Interestingly, this was not handwritten. This was a published piece of music, printed out, and the arrangement was by Matthias Holst, who happens to be the grandfather of Gustav Holst, who wrote The Planets. All right, the trio has one tune left. Maybe I should back up a little bit. In Jane Austen's time, late 1700s, early 1800s, Robert Burns, the poet, was very, very popular. I'm not sure how much she necessarily liked him. In her unfinished novel, Sandition, she said this about Burns. Poor Burns' known irregularities greatly interrupt my enjoyment of his lines. I have difficulty in depending on the truth of his feelings as a lover. I have not faith in the sincerity or the affections of a man of his description. He felt, and he wrote, and he forgot. However, Burns was very, very popular, and in the late 1700s, he took an Irish folk tune called Humours of the Glen, humor not the same as it means today, more like moods of the Glen, and wrote a poem to it called Their Groves of Sweet Myrtle, which was very, very successful, and he said it was one of his favorites. Whether Jane Austen liked Burns as a person or not, we don't know for sure, just that have that quote from Sandition. But this tune was also a favorite of hers, as her family reports, and it was copied out in her hand. So enjoy this. This will be the trio's last number. There may be something else coming up. And this will be a great tune to do a Ländler to. Thanks for joining us for the ball. Just like the books of Jane Austen, very popular in the Regency era, but also popular today and very applicable, our dancers have found that the quadrille and the reel and the Ländler can be danced to contemporary music enjoyed as well. So we're going to let them have it.
She works the nights by the water. She's gone astray, so far away from my father's daughter. She just wants a life for a baby. All on her own, no one will come. She's